Well, as I just mentioned, that was just a trailer that you've just seen, and you're about to experience a very pulse-setting and a compelling discussion for the next 1 hour. Well, that's Glib Talk. My name is Samrat Ghosh. This is my show, and I graciously welcome all of you to Glib Talk 4.3 for the evening. Today's guest that I have, we have just seen the trailer, and you already know who is going to be that person for us. However, she is no Bollywood drama queen, but she is a superstar in her own world, in her own entourage. She is ensemble. She is creative. She is a top trigger herself. And she is astounding, surrounded with a lot of talent, brilliance, and definitely with unyielding integrity. Well, she is an out-of-towner who has just started her entrepreneurial journey from the small town of the country to the capital of the country, who is in the process and in the making and leaving behind a legacy behind her mark. Well, I will not take any further time from any one of you and graciously welcome and present to you the guest for the evening for GLIBTALK 4.3. Here I welcome Miss Ekta Capoor. Ekta, welcome to GLIBTALK 4.3.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Samrat, for inviting me to your show. And it's an honor to be on the show, frankly. This is my first debut on any platform of this sort. So thank you once again. And thank you everyone for joining us here. I see a couple of, known names here. So thanks everyone for standing by me and supporting me here. Thanks. Yeah.
Your debutant rightly has mentioned that, yes, this is your debutant for the first time ever in a talk show, right? You are yourself a host for your work that you do. And for all of your perusal or all of your knowledge, she is the co-founder of Amazing Workplaces. She does a fantastic job. And if you get to see her work there on LinkedIn, I'm sure you would be equally astounding the way I was. And that's what brought me to Ekta, to talk to her and convince her to get to GLIBTALK and share her journey about her life. So just to set the context that right now you would not be able to ask any questions, or you would not be able to probably unmute yourselves, but you will have the option of asking your question directly to Ekta towards the last segment of this particular talk show of the evening. Well, thank you so very much for joining us and taking your time out on a Sunday evening. Well, we all know that we have our regular chores that we all have to take care of. So I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Ekta, thank you so very much for saying yes and coming to the show, because I know you had your set of apprehensions that you have shown me, but you did not take long to say yes and to come and join the show. So thank you, especially. Ekta, to start with from the very beginning, I know a lot about you. Yes, you have become that friend who has been superior and with stupendous brilliance and a beautiful heart with a great mind. Well, GLIBTALK tagline says that it's an interview of a great mind and a known face. And that known face is not the face of a celebrity, it's the face of a commoner and about their journey to put on a canvas through a talk show. And that is GLIBTALK. So we have two wonderful WhatsApp groups. We have two beautiful social media pages. One is on Facebook and one is on Instagram. So if you really appreciate our work, please go ahead and follow, like those pages. It'll be really, really honoring for us to keep this going on and this initiative. So Ekta, to start about, what do I start from? I mean, I more or less know a lot.
You didn't leave the questions to me, so I mean, it's your show. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for telling me that. I didn't know it. Wow, seriously. Well, Ekta is from the city where the living legend, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, is from. That is Allahabad. So Allahabad to Delhi, the journey has been absolutely inspirational. The journey, lots of failures, lots of successes that you must have seen. So we would going to be unraveling those stories of your life. So why don't you quickly start about your childhood, about your upbringing, your schooling, a little bit about your college, and then we get into the very first entrepreneurial journey, which you started right at the age of 21 to our audience this evening.
Okay, so to start with, actually, till yesterday, I was still very apprehensive because, the kind of adjectives which Samrat uses, somehow they don't go with me. I'm a very simple and down-to-earth person. And Yesterday he tried to convince me, no, that I am a star because of all the things that I have achieved in life. And if we say talk in those terms, I think each one of us are stars here, because we have all, at some stage or the other, we have all overcome our fears and moved ahead in life. So there's, in fact, anyone who's crossed 2020 in himself is a star. So the kind of challenges that 2020 has put across to all of us, I think we all are stars and we must celebrate. So that's the starting point. Now going ahead, going back to my journey from Allahabad. Firstly, like Samrat just put it across, I am not the star Ekta Kapoor. So famous or infamous for whatever reasons, I'm not that person, and I have no desire to be that person, frankly speaking. But yes, in my own way, my journey has been different, or maybe challenging, or difficult, easy, whatever you want to call it. So it all started as a childhood. The stage was set. When I was born, I was not very old when I lost my dad, and somehow that was God's indication that yes, things are not going to be that easy for you. So, but there's always a good way, a good thing, and a bad thing about everything that happens in your life. And when this thing happened, somewhere in my subconscious, even as a child, I think that resilience developed, resilience to face situations and facing them in a very positive manner. And because, I think whatever your family is going through, whatever you are going through, even as a child, somehow, it seeps down in you. And I became maybe I was, born with it, maybe it's in my DNA or genes, or maybe it was the situation that made me like that. But I became very resilient and strong headed in life. And I'll not say stubborn. I'll rather, stick to the strong headedness because I'm not stubborn. So, I mean, it's the journey otherwise is very long, but there's one incident that I remember from my childhood. I have a brother, yeah, elder brother, and my mom is there. I had very loving grandparents who incidentally were not there for a long time. But I had a very otherwise small and close knit family. My brother used to go to a missionary school. Allahabad, per se has very good missionary schools, and my brother was going to the boys' missionary school. And when my chance came to, to be admitted to the first standard, uh, because of what the family was going through, I was sent to a, very regular, normal school. And the strong-headed person that I am, I decided I'll not do it. You know, So that was the first example of being strong headed that I posed to my family. And I made it very clear to them, even at the age of 5, that either I'm going to the best school or I'm not getting educated. And, so every day there was a scene at home. My mom was in office, my grandfather was in office, my poor grandmother, she would be, trying to either hunt me, ki kahan chali gayi, or I would hide my tiffin. Sometimes I would hide my bag. So every day there was an ordeal. The transport used to come and they used to try hunting something or the other related to me, कि कैसे इसको स्कूल भेज दें. And it was a everyday affair. It was an everyday affair. So finally they kind of just bowed down to whatever I wanted. And then my mom, she spoke to one of her friends, and who was a Christian. And then they spoke to the principal. And I was actually, I got the admission in the school that I wanted to study in. So that's, the first example. And then, life moved on. So I've always taken my own decisions. I actually, maybe, I'm trying to say that. And I also feel that decisions always play a very important place in your life. And one thing, you should never regret your decisions, stand by them. So whether it is good or bad, but you should have the capacity to take your own decisions in life. And that way, I think I've been very lucky. that because of the kind of family I was in or the kind of in my environment I was in, I always took my own decisions in life. And where I am today is a part of, that the decisions that I've taken. So I don't regret anything in life per se. But then, education happened, everything, just kept going on like for everybody else. Uh, I think then the major turn in my life came, one of the major turns came in my life was when obviously you start thinking about what you want to do in life, as a career.
Right.
So I was very clear that I wanted a career for myself. And so I and since very at a very young age, I always had that entrepreneurial streak in me. So I just started thinking, okay, now what next? So in our times, career was something which, yes, I mean, certainly females were making careers, but in general sense, people were not very clear about the kind of things that they wanted to do the way they are now.
Right.
Things were very different then. So either we had arts, science, or commerce. Just three things, and you have to choose. So I thought, okay, entrepreneurship goes with commerce, so this is my field, this is my playing field, let me go for commerce. And my brother had also done that, so it was pretty safe zone for me. I said, fine, let's go ahead with and do the graduation in commerce. So I did that, and part of it was interesting, part of it was pretty boring. So
Sure.
but
I'm sure we.
yeah,
I don't want you to just completely start and just end the conversation right at 6 o'clock. Please give me some time also to ask you certain questions because I know that you're a strong-headed Leo. Okay,
yeah,
that's a true Leo characteristic that is talking about right now, and I could so relate to it because I'm a Leo too myself. You are stubborn at times. Very truly, you are stubborn. Whatever little I have known you, but in the positive manner, definitely not in the negative sense. And the decisions that you have talked about that you have taken in your life, that's always for your good and your betterment. So you have given us a little bit about your schooling, about your strong-headedness. That no, I wanted to go to that particular school. If I'm not going there, I am not going to school. So it's like a do or die situation, and that's a true Leo streak. That either we don't break. I mean, we don't bend. Whether we stand,
there's no middle path.
there's no middle parts. Yeah, we just either stand still or we just break, right? And there's no gray area in our life. And thank you so very much. I think that's what the conversation was going, and we had a candid conversation. And thank you for letting me know a lot about you as an individual, which will help me to ask certain questions to know about your journey. So you said that you have completed your graduation, then you had that entrepreneurial streak in your head. Uh, was there any influence behind? Because you said that your dad was a serviceman. I think he was a worker in the Allahabad High Court, if I'm able to recall it correctly. Mom was also working somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Your grandfather also, I don't think that was having his own business or a legacy kind of thing to be carried forward. So, how did you, being the woman in the house, at a certain age, which was like during your teenage, right? And you have crossed certain decades in your life. So, considering the options or the plethora of opportunities that a modern kid would have or a teenager would have right now, we didn't have that during our days. Let's be very honest and very candid about it. How could you get that, and what was the influencing factor in your mind to have or to be your own boss or to start something on my own? Can you give us more background about it?
Okay, so basically, from the very start, I had this inclination towards designing or drawing, whatever you could say. And, friends are very supportive when you're doing something like that. So today, kids are like into 10 things, and it's understood ki hai, theek hai, acha hai sab kuch. But then in our times, when apart from studies, the child used to do something, तो लगता था कि नहीं इसमें कुछ creative है. So in my case, I was interested in sketching and drawing and things like that. And computers were introduced in our time, so everybody used to say ki, you should become a graphic designer. And it got into my mind ki, okay, now I'll have a graphic studio, or I'll have a ad agency or something of those types. So even the idea of marketing and sales was not in my head that time. So it was like, if there's design, it has to be something of either a design studio or a advertising agency. So when I was in as a student also, I used to take some assignments of drawing and sketching, a little bit here and there, creating posters for shops.
For
So those kind of things for pocket money I used to do. So वहाँ से it all started, and then slowly I pursued a long distance diploma in advertising and PR at that time, along with my graduation.
sure.
And then I suddenly had this idea ki, okay, let's do something on our own. Once the education is complete, we have this free time before the results are announced, especially the universities. So my friend, my childhood friend, her brother was very interested in sales, and we used to discuss his sales. He used to have some part-time jobs in sales, and I used to really like the way he had that sales streak in him. So I discussed it with him. I said, let's launch an ad agency in Allahabad. So I have this designing skill, you have the sales skill, so let's do it. And company बनाने में ज़्यादा time नहीं लगता, so like that's what I told you. Running a company might take time. To be successful, you might take time, but floating a company never takes time. So you just have to create a logo and a letterhead, a couple of things here and there. And most time, small company, you don't need GST, sales tax, this and that. You just kind of just launch the company. So we launched the company overnight, and we started pitching. He started pitching to people, and we started getting orders for designing, printing, and a lot of BTL activities that we used to do, because he had knowledge of all that. So he was very supportive, and we really gelled with each other a lot. And it actually it started running pretty decent, for earning pocket money at the age of just after graduation. I think it was pretty good for us. But then I had certain I had a very clear goals actually, that I wanted to shift to the capital.
Right.
Capital, I knew that I wanted a bigger stage for myself, because in the end I had that key, I have to have my own business, my own agency or something in the capital. And capital is very accessible from Allahabad. It's an overnight journey, and I had my aunt over there. So I started looking for opportunities. Incidentally, this friend only of mine, she one day, she gave me, she said, there's a job in Nirola's for a graphic designer. Why don't you apply? And I applied, and they called for me for an interview. And, I just overnight, I just packed my bags and I said, bye. I told my mom, now it's Allahabad is done for me. Now I'm just shifting. And I spoke to my aunt, and she said, yes, she was staying alone. She was more than welcoming. And,
How
then
you,
I think that was one of the biggest changing phases of my life, frankly speaking.
there
I'll
was
stop here, otherwise you will say ki 6 baje tak I'll talk.
that's not the purpose. I know. See, that's the weakness and the level of brilliance that she carries. But thank you so very much for pointing that out. But you've been a strong-headed man also, right? You've taken your decision very firmly that I have to move out of the city. I have to get into the capital of the country because I am going to be creating and leaving that legacy, and I don't want to be leaving the world without even having known to people in my way, right? So that's a great journey that's apparently pushed you to come to the capital of the country. After coming to the capital of the country, you never looked back, you said. You never went back to Allahabad, for that matter. You have let the business, whatever little it was, that ad agency that you started, you have given the responsibility to your friend whom you started the business with.
Yeah.
And then coming to the capital of the country, having no clue, just being your aunt. How did you start? I mean, what are the level of roadblocks and the hindrances that you had to go through? I mean, it was definitely not easy, I'm sure, right? It would definitely, uh, there were hardships, there were
Mm.
closed doors, there were people who probably are just want to take undue advantage of certain situations. Do you have any specific experience that you would like to share?
Uh, I'll start with saying that I didn't have a very up and down kind of a life. I've had a difficult but smooth life. So I think that comes from the way I foresee situations, the way I handle situations in my life. I think I never let a problem get too big for me. So that's my approach to problems, and perhaps because of the that particular trait in me, I've never allowed any problems to kind of bog me down. You can say that. So yes, I think problems do come in everybody's lives. I have faced my own set of situations without going into much details, because otherwise, I think I'll write my book and then everybody can read that in detail. So, but yes, there were a lot of situations like, I mean, to start with, it was not difficult, frankly speaking, because I gave the interview at Nerola's, and I'm an impatient person. I'm perseverant, but still impatient. So I was not hearing for them. It was 3, 4 days. I said maybe I was pathetic because I come from, I'm not a trained designer. Maybe they wanted some trained designer. And so I spoke to my cousin brother who was already there. So I said, "Ki, why don't you, I knew that he had some connections in a small ad agency. So I requested him, I said, why don't you introduce me to them?
Right.
So he introduced me, and they said, okay, fine, intern here, come over. So next day I started, so within the first week I started going to office. And yes, there were difficulties in going to office and everything, because coming from Allahabad, a very safe kind of a place, suddenly you are on the roads and buses and all that thing. So it's not easy. But yes, you have decided something for yourself, so you don't look back. And I did that job for 6 months, had some good experiences, but I knew that was not the kind of thing for me. So I wanted to be more on the creative side, and there I was more. I write also, apart from
I will talk
just
about it in
just designing. So I was always confused in two boards.
the.
So they used to give me writing assignments, and I used to say, "नहीं मुझे तो design बनाना है." So that confusion was also always there in their minds and my mind. So then one day I finally decided that हो गया अब, I can't continue over here. And without a backup plan, I just spoke to them. I said कि I want a raise. They said
Actually,
कितना चाहिए? I
what is
I
it?
said 6 months हो गया, I need a raise, and they said कितना चाहिए? I quoted something which I knew they would refuse. So because it was a known place, so I could not just say कि I'm leaving. So I made them say no to me, and then I left that job. And
You started getting onto
and
the.
then I started going after all the big names.
Uh,
कि लिंटास में भी इंटरव्यू दे दूं, and rediffusion DY&R, if I remember, Ogilvy method. I mean,
okay.
all the big names, I used to hunt their numbers and I used to call them and fix interviews. So for a couple of months, I went to every Tom, Dick, and Harry agency, Tom, Dick, and Harry, but the bigger ones, not the smaller ones, because I knew I couldn't work in that small agency. Yeah. And but I didn't have any background in design. If you understand, I didn't have any background in design, and I was looking for a. So I used to request them कि ठीक है मुझे intern ही बना लो, मुझे बस सिखा दो काम किसी तरीके से. So but things didn't happen. Then finally I met somebody. I want to name that person. His name is Pratap Suthan. In Trikaya Gray, I met him, and he was pretty kind enough to me, and he said कि आ जाओ, we'll not pay you anything, but आ जाओ. And
Okay.
I'm being very candid, and I said, come se come, give me aane jaane ka, to give me that fare. But he said, nee, that we can't do. If you want to learn, then come. And so from next day, I joined them, and I did that. I worked there for 2 months, and Everything was very good, but in that 2 months, I realized that ad agencies are not for me. I'm a very simple person from a, and I can't smoke, I can't drink, I can't do late nights. I had no problem with late nights, but I was staying with my aunt, and she definitely, with all, uh, I mean, everybody say, I mean, in a place like Delhi, going in buses and late nights and all is not something which was very safe also. So I took a very practical decision, and I decided, this is something not for me. I could have toiled for the next 2 3 years, that I know, but somehow, for that, to learn the work, but that environment, I felt, somehow I would not be able to gel in, and
So, so my
so I
question,
took, yeah.
my question is: so you did not come to Delhi keeping the entrepreneurial journey in your mind
Like
immediately?
it was, but there's a it. I mean, you can't suddenly start a business in Delhi. You have to have some experience. Yeah, I needed to have that experience of an ad agency
Hmm.
to start a business in an ad agency. You can't just do business like this. You don't know anybody over here. So then after that, I did a job at Archie's. I did a job at Rotomac, and then from there, I finally realized कि let me start. I got an opportunity to start my own freelancing work, and from there I actually picked up and started my freelancing work. Yeah.
So, amazing workplaces. I know you
Yeah.
are a poet at heart. You write good stuff. There is a Facebook page called Word3. If you would like to see her work in terms of what she writes, penning down her random thoughts with certain numbers, it's there. So we will talk about that that side of yours. But you wanted to gain that experience. You gained that experience probably the amount of time that you wanted to gain that experience before you start something on your own. You did not like the work, or you did not find it very conducive for yourself to be continuing there for ages or for a few years before you actually start your on your own. So you kind of let it go also. So was it a calculated decision? Did
It
you?
was a calculated decision, because if you take certain decisions in life, you experience them, and then you realize that this is not meant for you for whatever reason. Maybe if I would have had a different, if I would have been living with my parents, it would have been different. But I was living with somebody else, and I had no funds at all in the in the bank. So I had to take a decision. Ki, okay, might as well start doing something where I start uh, getting something back in return as well. So I got in. Then I started hunting for a job. I worked with Archie's, then I worked with Rotomac Greetings at that time. And incidentally, it happened at that time. Suddenly, the greetings industry per se went down because of all the e-greetings which were happening. Internet was getting a boom, and within that time only, I got an opportunity to do freelancing. I got a very good assignment through one of my friends, and that's how I took a call that now I want to just
Start something on your.
start freelancing. At least let's start freelancing, because till that time I'd learned designing to quite an extent. I was good at computers and everything. So then I started on my own after that. Yeah.
So how did Amazing Workplaces start? I mean, what
That's a long journey, because what I'm telling you is 2000. Yeah.
the year 2000?
2000, I started freelancing,
Okay.
and I came to Delhi in 97. Yeah. I started freelancing in 2000. And after that, in 2013, I floated my full time studio when I stopped freelancing, and started employing people who to work as designers for us. And that's the time when Shresi, my friend, she joined me as a business partner, and it was a combined decision that okay, now enough of working on your own, so let's although even freelancing was a kind of a you can say it is a solopreneurship. Yeah. So that didn't give me that kick. I was working, it was okay. I was working at my own pace and everything, but it was always giving the kick that I wanted, because I wanted to leave designing altogether and do something which was more concrete and bigger. So that's how this conversation with Tracy happened. She wanted to give up her job, and she wanted to start something, and so we combined our energies and we floated this studio. And I mean, part of it is still there. We
Right.
have amalgamated it in Amazing Workplaces, the work that we were doing as under brand recall since 2013. But 1.5 years back, to approximately 2 years back, we launched Amazing Workplaces as a platform. But the reason why that platform happened was that, again, since I'm a creative person, I have, these ideas happening. At a point, certain point, even designing, was not designing for, even with the team was not giving me that
Right.
kick from inside. I knew something had to be bigger, to where I want to reach. I knew that through brand recall, through their designing work, I was not going there. I was stuck up. We were, actually stuck up, and uh, stuck up in terms of, okay, same monotonous kind of work happening and everything, and which was, and most of it was actually self-paced. It was smooth. Everything was happening automatically. So our role as such, was just management.
Right.
And we were not able to grow it to that extent which we wanted, because a lot of freelancers had come in. There was a lot of competition in terms of rates, and when you start, that kind of a price war, it really doesn't give you the kick. So uh, in fact, I'll just like to add something here. In brand recall, what we were doing was we were working with corporates. So we were working in the internal communication department, which is basically people oriented. Okay, so what we realized was that when you work with the corporates, when they're working with people, there's a lot of things. Corporates take a lot of initiatives and efforts to ensure that productivity happens. Yeah. So I wanted to understand more about how things happen in corporates, because I didn't have any corporate experience as such. Yeah. But we were dealing with corporates day in and day out. So we launched this platform called Amazing Workplaces, wherein I personally felt that I have this writing streak in me. Let me just, go and talk to people, HR people, and try to understand what is it that, that they have in their mind to ensure that productivity increases. Yeah. And they, the end result is basically happy employees. So when I started talking to them, I saw a pattern. Every person I used to speak to, there was a pattern in what they used to say.
Right.
And I started analyzing that pattern after talking to them, and I realized that, there are certain basic principles upon which, every great organizer, because we were talking to the bigger organizations, obviously, because the or smaller organizations do lesser, in terms of people. It's more like ki kaam karo paise lo types. But the bigger organizations do make efforts to, introduce things like employee engagement, trainings, learning and development to a very great extent. So once we started analyzing this pattern, we realized that there is more to it, and I started getting deeper and deeper into it. And then we devised our own principle of 7 pillars on which amazing workplaces are built, right? So we have our own philosophy now, which we have come up with after, it's a, and now we are increasing the platform basis that philosophy. So now we are trying to fill those the gaps in those 7 pillars. So
Right.
the services now that we are trying to, provide to our clients, they actually relate to the 7 pillars. So everything now that we are doing is in sync with what the corporates require, to enhance productivity in the organization.
Purely your self-funding, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there is no
Yeah,
investment.
I'm looking for an investor. If anybody watching, please.
Oh my God, this is not the platform to do this. Okay, now.
Every You only told me how to sell myself.
Oh my God. Okay, that's where you're coming. Okay, so enough of your professional journey, and it's been. It's 5:37 right now, and we will have a GTQ section. Then we will have the audience if the audience want to ask you any question. So my sincere request to all of you, if you really want to ask any question directly to Ekta, please raise your hand. I would be more than happy to unmute you. You can go ahead and ask your question directly to Ekta towards the very, very last segment. Coming to your friendship trio, whatever little I have gotten to know after talking to you for the last couple of days in the week, you three of us who apparently founded this organization. One you already mentioned, and the other one you did not mention. So, how did that friendship trio apparently happen? Where did it start from? And how did you guys set that common goal for yourself to have one established company? I mean, the myth around the world is women and women, they do not get along well. And I don't say that with any conviction. It is just a heard and seen and known factors. But I think it's exceptionally brilliant that three of you friends have apparently come to a consensus to have the common vision and find, establishing an organization with the same mission and the goals that you've set. So वो तीन लोगों का जो आप लोगों का जो दोस्ती है, which is more than your family right now, apparently that you have mentioned. How did that start, and where did that start from before you started getting into the business thoughts in your mind? A little insight.
Well, I'll not go into the details of the family part and all. Yeah. So, but because my answers are very long, so let's have a separate clip talk for that. But as far as common goal and vision is concerned, Shresi and I have been together for quite some time on this. So every idea, everything is first bounced back on each other, and वहीं से approval मिलता है, वहीं से rejection मिलता है. So we are called two great minds at work. As far as Sutapa is concerned, who's the third partner, she's basically she's a banker by profession, and she left her job 2 years back, more than 2 years back rather, and she started pursuing it. She was actually bored of her job. She didn't want to continue with going all the way to Gurgaon every day, 2 hours going, 2 hours coming back. So she was pretty tired of that, and she was always interested in photography, and that was something which used to give her a kick always. So after a lot of calculation and planning, she decided to leave her job, and she started pursuing photography. And now she's a professional photographer. For the past 1 year, she's been pursuing professional photography. She's learned it from Goa, and since we are like inseparable, three friends, three musketeers, you can say. So, and we needed a finance mind because we are more, Shresi and I are more creative, and, we live in a world of dreams and ideas. So she was the finance person. I said, you need somebody who's more balanced and who knows how to manage finances. So definitely, she is that finance angle. Still, she hardly manages a bit part of, not the major part of it. She's more into her own things, and she's into other stuff as well. But she's an external director in this company, and Shresi is a full-time director. Yeah. So common vision, I'll say that अब Shresi and मेरा vision है, तो automatically you start having the same visions. So I think that's the reason. Yeah.
So far, the biggest failures that you've seen so far in your entrepreneurial journey, as a entrepreneur, or as being into partnerships. I mean, of course, pandemic has apparently did a lot of damage to the entire world. So if you have specific success stories, if you have specific failure stories, which would be a learning session probably for any one of us to get inspired about, if you can just quickly give a nutshell about both your successes and your set of failures so far that you've gone through.
I think success and failure is, two sides of the same coin. Yeah. So every time you fail and you decide to, come out of it, that's a success. So, there have been many instances when we have been on the verge of closure, because it's, sometimes you're suddenly low on finances, And when you're learning how to do business, when that business background is not there, you have been a freelancer, a lot of things happen. There are payment problems, clients would not pay up on time, or they will sometimes, they will just kind of skip payments altogether. So those kind of things do happen, and then you realize what is it, what at the end of the day what you are doing. Some Many times you don't pay yourself. That's the biggest problem with us business owners. We don't pay ourselves. Yeah, especially small business owners. We say कि नहीं, पहले team को देना है. तो for us also, it was the same story. Always team first, we last. uh, I don't know how right or wrong it is, but that was the case. And many times it did happen in our business that we would be on the verge of just saying कि क्या करें अब, what next. And I think finance is the biggest problem that we used to face. Otherwise, work related things we've always managed to overcome. All the work related challenges we managed, but this was something which which has always been a bottleneck. And
Who wants to
but
start, what would be your advice? What are the few things that you would make it a mandate for
hmm,
anybody to start their entrepreneurial journey? That these are the mandate checklist or the boxes in the checklist that you should be prepared of before you start anything, because you know that you are getting into a risk zone, and all the risks cannot be calculated beforehand.
firstly, I think I don't think I'm sure about it. The first thing is don't have an exit door. Okay, if you want to become an entrepreneur, then the exit door should not be there, because that's the easiest way. Yeah. The second thing is have some kind of a backup, financial backup. Because when I started, I didn't have. I just had to, once I started freelancing, I had a month's salary, so in my bank. So that was my calculated risk that I took in life. So have that. So maybe if it requires doing a job for like a few years, do that persistently. Don't be an emotional fool like me. uh,
Emotional fool. Why would you say that?
Emotional means you're so emotional about your work, what you want to do in life, that you don't have to take that practical decision that no, that financial backup is essential. Yeah, either your family has that backup or you have that backup. So that is very important. And thirdly, third important thing I feel is that every entrepreneur, if you don't have that business sense, then please have some, undergo some coaching, because coaching changed our lives.
Okay.
We joined Rajiv Talreja's space program and then MBA program, and that changed our lives. In fact, that is what how Amazing Workplaces was born. We came to know uh, what more we could do, through that. How a designing business could actually become so big as a stage, that we could actually, the entire corporate world could become our stage. That has happened because of coaching. It opened our minds to what all products you can introduce, what are the kind of, where all you can go, so you don't get stuck to a certain situation in life. So coaching is very important. If you have a good coach, he will always guide you in the right direction. That's very important. I think these are the three important. And then perseverance, definitely. If you're not perseverant, then
Not going to go anywhere.
you will not go anywhere. No, because there'll be. I mean, I do point of view. There would be 100 views, 550 views. Don't give up. Don't think it's success is not overnight. There are no shortcuts to success. So if you have that feeling that suddenly you will become a Shah Rukh Khan was not made in a day. He has his own journey, his own pain points. So nothing is made in a day. It just shows that it's made in a day, but success doesn't happen that way. Yeah.
So,
And there'll be a lot of people who will write you off also. So just you also write them off. That's my advice.
yeah,
So
that's the
yeah.
fourth lesson that I think we have learned, that, yeah, do all these three checklists as a mandate for you to start your own journey if you really want to be an entrepreneur. And for a lady, it is, I would not say it's, even if there are plethora of options, definitely, but somebody who's coming from, a different town, not a Cosmo, and leaving that during that time.
Hmm.
and not looking back. I think whatever little I have known about you, that you are one person who does not look back.
Hmm.
If you moved forward, you do not look back. So I think that's another thing, that keep moving on and do not look back. Setbacks and failures are supposed to come in your way, so no global gyans on that. Baki, you would learn from your own self. So considering the best interest of time, we have certain, I think somebody has asked a certain question. Bharat has asked a question which we'll be taking it in some time. So if, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any particular questions, please feel free to raise your hand. You can directly ask your questions to Ekta. Keep them very short and simple, and I would definitely unmute you towards the end of it. We are at 5:48. We have another 10-15 minutes to go. Sahil is mentioning something. We will come back to you, Sahil. But before that, a little bit about your poetic mind, Ekta. If you can, I know when I was talking to you and I mentioned about the Facebook page, about the random thoughts. So do they drive? You think a lot as a person. You told me that that's how you get these thoughts to write and pen them down. So what is that? Do you have any purpose that you do it, or is it just a passion that you write and just express your thoughts in terms of words?
It's neither a passion nor that I think a lot. It's just that sometimes something happens and it just strikes, few words which either rhyme with each other or make sense. So I just write them down. That's it. And I'm a very moody person, so sometimes I'll write 10 days in a row. Sometimes I'll not write 10 months in a row. So it's nothing. I'm not passionate about writing. So I'm not. If you have a passion, you pursue it. So if I'm not pursuing it regularly, then definitely it's not a passion with me. But yes, I enjoy it. I like what I write. So yes,
Others
I
say your own writing only. That
yeah.
I've written it very nice.
I'm my own critic, so I'll talk bad about myself also and good about myself also.
So the Facebook page name is Wortree. If you really want to see what kind of work she does in terms of her writing, please go ahead and see this page for yourself. And if you like it, please go ahead and like these pages and encourage the work, the good work that she's doing. Now it's come to the last segment. It's 5:49. The remaining 5 minutes, the coming 5 minutes rather, is a Glip Talk question round where I will be asking you certain questions in a repartee. A few questions, and you have to quickly answer them. You don't have time. You cannot think through much and give the answers. There is no right or wrong answers about it. But would just like to see that a businesswoman's mind, how does it quickly function when there are certain questions that are just thrown just like that. And then we will come to Sahil and Bharat, who has asked two questions, and definitely ask you them, or I would ask on their behalf. So here it starts, Ekta. The very first question comes in your way. What are the three things that you really, really hate the most about yourself?
Who's asking that?
I'm asking that. It's a Glip Talk reparting, Glip Talk question round.
Oh, okay. So
You did not hear.
one second, one second. I was not prepared for that. So the thing which I hate more about myself is I'm not disciplined,
That's one.
and I don't take care of my health. That I hate about myself, and I'm too transparent.
Being transparent is, you think that's a bad quality in you?
It is a bad quality because the world is not transparent.
The world is not transparent. Okay, that's a very candid answer. So what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you look at yourself in the mirror? About yourself?
I'm okay looking.
What you really have to, this is called that they have to praise their looks. I thought I'm conquering the world. I'm on the verge of leaving and creating a legacy.
No, it is my answer.
It's your answer. Okay, so what would you let go of, $1 billion or a person who's going to be taking care of you for the rest of your life?
Neither.
You not let go of either. You can't be diplomatic. You have to be giving one answer if there are two options. So what would you let?
I don't want anybody to take care of me.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's a win-win situation in all relationships. So nobody has to take care of you, and you have to, it's a give and take. So I'm not dependent on anybody to take care of me. So let me take the $1 billion and take care of him or her, whatever.
Oh wow, really? So गौर से देखें इस इंसान को कि she wants to take that $1 billion and she wants to take care of that person. Brilliant. What a thoughtful answer. So, what are the 3 goals that you have in your life that you wish to conquer, uh, personally and professionally, before you leave your footprint there in the universe?
What are the 3 goals? I want to see myself on the cover of Forbes,
Okay.
unpaid.
And
I don't want to pay for it. And
okay.
I want to build a company which the world knows about. So, not in terms of size, but in terms of what we do. Yeah. So, I don't want to make a Coca Cola and Pepsi, not that, or a Reliance or a Tata's. But yes, whatever we do, I want everybody to know about that. Especially in the corporate world, basically, I'm talking about. And third thing, third is a difficult thing. I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, fine. 2 is fine. Okay, what is that probably one nature or that character that really turns you off in a man?
In a man, I don't know. I mean, I've not never thought about it.
I mean, you just like say, snap it off. You just say, okay, this is it. If this is what you do, or that characteristics, that's something that really you hate okay, forget about a man and an individual or a human being for that matter.
Artificialness, actually. If you are too, if you're fake, basically, I
Okay.
I don't get along well with people who are too boisterous, talking about themselves, the influencer type of people. Yeah.
If you're a fruit or a vegetable, which one would you like to be? Either a fruit or a vegetable, and why?
ये तो बता देना चाहिए था. I would have come prepared. So.
What about?
Fruit or a vegetable?
It's either a fruit or a vegetable. But if you are a vegetable or a fruit, which fruit or which vegetable you would want to be and why?
That's a difficult one. I can't answer that.
Very clever way of passing it off. Okay. The next question. What are the 2 places that you would like to visit if you were offered tomorrow and you would just leave everything behind and you will just pack your bag and go? In the world, in the country, in the same state, or your dream destination?
In India, I would like to visit Pondicherry. I love that place. And outside India, I actually am very fond of. I'm a dream of going to Europe countryside. So since Enid Blyton days, I've always dreamt of the European countryside. Somehow, that makes me feel very nostalgic. So I think yes.
Okay. What is?
I'm not a US kind of a person.
You love all of European countries.
Yeah, man-made structures don't, appeal to me.
What is the definition of love according to you?
What is the definition of
love according to you?
Luck.
You're conveniently ignoring the word, or you were just not.
No, I want to be sure of what I hear.
You heard it very first time, absolutely right. What is the definition of love according to you? I think my pronunciation is not that bad yet.
No, my hearing could be bad. Love, I think, is something that you feel. I mean, you think that you feel, but then it has to be supported by a lot of other emotions and actions. That's what I feel, because love in itself is nothing. If it is a relationship of any kind, relationship could be anything. It could be your friends, it could be family, your spouse, or whatever. But yes, if it is a relationship, it has to be supported by a lot of things.
So if you were
in entirety, I feel that love in itself, if you just feel it for somebody, it's okay. But if it's a relationship, then it has to be, to go on, it has to be supported by a lot of things.
Wow, brilliant. And the Oscar does not go to you for this. But the next question is, if you were the Prime Minister of the country, what are the things that you would have...
You're not in Hollywood, by the way.
Okay. You've already been a star, right? You just said it. So if you're the Prime Minister of the country, what are the things, what are the two things probably you would have done considering the present situation of the country? Not being political or anything, just your own thought.
I always, I can answer that because I always believe that a country should be run in a corporate manner. It should have a profit and loss statement, and it should be, the people should be happy. So it should be an amazing place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the one and only thing that I feel. The moment you start creating a profit and loss statement for a country, and everybody is part of that profit and loss statement, then I think we have a lot of consultants they can help out. Sample style also.
That's a very good and a very well thought answer, Ekta. And the very last question before we take the audience questions, 3 good things about me and GLIBTALK as an initiative. And you better think through and give me the answer properly. Good answers.
Can you come again? Actually, I was going through some question.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 good things about me and GLIBTALK as an initiative.
Oh,
yes.
So I have to do some bites. Good thing about Samrat.
Look at the smirk and the smile on her face. Don't go by that. Be honest and candid.
I think the good thing is, the energy which he puts in every week. Whether there are 10 people on the show, or there are, 100 views on the show, or less than that, or more than that. When every day, every week, you have the same enthusiasm, that means that you believe in you're doing the right thing, or you believe in what you are doing. You're passionate about it. I think that's the good thing about you. And about the show, I think it's a good initiative to bring normal people here. Yeah. And not people who would be not people who will be politically correct, but yes, candid conversations. We have had enough of webinars. I promised I'll not say webinar, but we have had enough of webinars. So yes, this a conversation like this is something which does initiate a lot of interest, and it's good for people. Like I got this opportunity to talk about myself, which definitely I don't think till the Forbes cover happens is I'm going to get soon enough. So yes, it's a good opportunity for people like me also. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being so political. You really tried so hard, and I could resonate to Sahil's laughter emojis that he mentioned. Ekta is trying really so hard. So that means I don't have technically any good qualities. You have to think hard.
So you think so much about yourself. Yeah?
Who's talking? Okay. But anyways, now time to take the question.
It's not about you. It's about the audience in the show. Yeah.
What? It's not about me. Oh, okay. All right. Got it. So the very last 2 questions before we wrap this up. Sahil and Bharat, you have asked 2 questions. Sahil has asked, Ekta, you are very humble as a person. Would be keen to know what makes you amazing that in turn makes amazing workplaces amazing? That's a typical Sahil Nair question, so you have to answer that.
That's a typical Sahil.
That's a difficult question.
It's difficult to understand this question.
Okay, I'm reading that out. You want to read it out yourself?
No, I read it. So, I'm a humble person. Yes, I am a humble person.
No, he mentioned that you are a humble person. We would be keen to know that what makes you amazing. Let me come
to the second part. I'm agreeing that I'm a humble person. First, I have to agree that I'm a humble person.
Okay, go ahead.
So, would be keen to know what makes you? I think other people would be better off telling me what makes me amazing. I mean, how can I say what makes me amazing? Whether I am amazing or not, even I don't know. So, but yes, amazing workplaces. I think what I do with my heart. And if you connect something with your inner self, then I think you come up with something good. It could be any creation for that matter, whether it's amazing workplaces or anything. Yeah. Sahil, I hope it answers your question, but it's always difficult to answer your question.
I don't think so, but I think Ekta, the very first thing after this, along with your entrepreneurial journey, what you should do
Mm.
is you should join politics. You do very well diplomacy. Your answers are very diplomatic and very honest, of course. But I have a different view to it. But
I'll,
you are great in that particular.
I'll join politics if it becomes a corporate.
Okay, now the very last question Bharat was asking: are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Okay, that's a very straight question with a very straight answer, where she did not even take 2 seconds to answer because that's what she is. Now, who are your advertising clients right now? Do you want to reveal that, Ekta, or you want to keep it separate? That's absolutely up to you.
Advertising clients, firstly, so we are not into advertising. We are into internal communication.
Hmm.
And few of our clients, basically, I'll not try to like disclose, but yes, we work with a lot of corporates, good corporates.
Okay. Great. So I think we have just crossed 3 minutes of our time. So we thank you everyone for taking this time out. Ekta, it's a pleasure knowing you in a little way. I think 1 hour is really, really not enough or sufficient to know about somebody's life, but whatever little you have actually mentioned about your journey in life, apparently definitely would probably the true glib talk that what the intention was all about. So thank you very much for that. It's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you everybody who has just come and joined and for your asking questions. So please go ahead. Have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you, Sahil. Thank you, Bharat, for asking those questions. Thank you, Gayatri, Harini, everyone, Ashwini, everyone who joined, taking your time out on a Sunday. We have Glib Talk that happens every week from 5 to 6 in the evening. We have our series of guests coming every week. So please do stay in the WhatsApp group and please like those Glib Talk social media pages on FB and on Instagram. So your parting note, your parting message, Ekta, before you say goodbye to all of us out here, and a wonderful evening, probably something that you would like to give your note, because you are in the process of making and leaving your legacy behind.
Firstly, though, I'll thank you, Samrat. I'm not politically correct or anything, but you make me sound like that, and other people also feel the same. I'm just being honest. All the best for your show. I think it's a great effort. In fact, this pandemic has given us a lot of opportunity to come online and create these kind of events and groups, which was not earlier possible. So even for amazing workplaces, also I feel is a great opportunity. As a parting note, I'll just say that stay safe, stay happy, and there's lots in life beyond COVID. Let's not give up. That's to stay positive in life. Yeah.
That was the parting message to everyone. Thank you so much once again, guys. Stay blessed, stay safe, take care of your family. Don't go out anywhere unless there is a direct need. Till then, take care and stay tuned to Keep Talk. Thank you very much, Ekta. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Samrat. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Harni, Sahil, everybody. Thank you.
Have a wonderful week ahead. Take care.
Same to you.
Thank you.